Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jeannie and I am back from my beach vacation and I am ready to change up my nails. I have been wearing this mani for 9-10 days, something like that, and it is a little bit grown out and I'm just not used to wearing something for so long, so I am so ready to change these out. When I was away, my order from Glam Co arrived and I'm super excited to open this up and give these products a try. So she did recently release full coverage tips, so I'm really excited to try them. So just kind of showing you what I got in my package, just opening it up. Along with her full coverage tips, she did release a dehydrator, a primer, and a jelly glue. So I did decide to try the jelly glue, but I already have dehydrator and primer, so I skipped those. So just want to take a look at the consistency of this jelly glue. It's thicker. I'd say it's kind of like maybe thicker than a builder gel consistency. So definitely eager to try that. So we'll give that a try when we try on the tips. Now this is out of the norm for me, but she did release lipstick shaped tips and I was just dying to try them. But look at here, this is really cool. She actually included instructions with the tips on how to apply them. So if you're newer to jelly tips, I think that's really great to include. So I just want to take a quick look at the tips and see, you know, how they feel, are their thickness, and then just look at the shape of them. What I think is really cool, which it didn't really occur to me, is the lipstick shape goes both ways. So there's two different directions that they go for each hand. So your right hand and your left hand. I kind of applied them this way. I'm not sure if that's right or not. So you'll have to let me know if I applied them the correct way or not. So we will get into that. I'm gonna apply these tips during this video. And of course I picked up a few more colors because I couldn't help myself. But this new color, Visionary, wait till you see it on. It is so unique and there's nothing like it. But first, before I go into the application of the tips, I do need to remove my current set. So I wasn't wearing peel base because I was on vacation. So I actually filed off all the color. I removed my tips on my left hand. My right hand is actually my natural nails with builder gel. I pushed back my cuticles, applied gel base and primer. And then I went ahead and sized and pre-etched my tips as well. I'll be using Glam Co's jelly glue to give it a shot. And for flash curing, I'm going to use my MelodieSusie 2-in-1 lamp. So this is really great because it's a regular lamp. And then when you push that circle at the top, it actually turns into a UV lamp for your flash curing, which is awesome. And you can see here the neck is super bendable and flexible, but it's not flimsy. So it's really easy to use the way you want to. Let me tell you, this lamp is a total game changer. I have a regular gooseneck lamp that I used to use, but it doesn't even compare to this one. And I love with this MelodieSusie lamp that little circle at the top, it's touch sensitive. So it's not actual button you have to press. So it makes it super easy. So I can just lightly tap that circle and it turns into that flash cure and I don't have to worry about messing up my tip or holding it in place. Okay, sorry, I feel like I just rambled. So getting into my tip application, I'm just taking some of that jelly glue and I'm applying it to the inside of my tip. I want to make sure that there's enough of the jelly glue so that I can fill in the gap between my natural nail and the apex. Because these are a medium length tip, they do have a higher apex than my flatter nails. So you always want to make sure that you've got enough glue to fill in that gap. Obviously, anytime I use new tips or new glues, there is a learning curve. And for this finger, I did get a couple little air bubbles, but nothing too major. So I'm just going to leave it and know how to readjust for next time. The one thing I will say though, and it may be because I had to put more jelly glue to fill in that gap, that I did experience heat spikes. Like it hurt. So anytime you experience a heat spike, you always want to take your finger out of the lamp, let it cool for a couple seconds, and then you can put it back in and that should fix the heat spike. It's normal, it happens. It especially happens if you use a lot of gel, like a thicker amount of gel. So I'm not really surprised, but whew, I had to pull my fingers out just to let it cool because that hurt. Moving on to my middle nail, I applied the jelly glue. I'm going to gently push down from my cuticle down to my free edge. I realized I actually didn't put enough jelly glue, so instead of trying to force it down, which will cause it to pop off if you do put too much pressure, I'm going to apply more jelly glue and I'm going to try again. So I'm going to start at my cuticle and gently press down towards the free edge with not too much pressure, just to make sure that I'm filling in. And once I've got it in place, I'm gently tapping that circle at the top and I'm going to give it a flash cure. So again, I had a heat spike. I had a heat spike in all the nails, but not surprising. So just going to put it under the lamp again to cure it. Once I'm done with all the nails, I'll give them all a full cure in my large lamp. So I've got a 48 watt UV LED lamp. So I'll give them a 60-second cure. So this lamp's really just for a flash cure to hold the nails in place until I'm done. Well, the tips in place until I'm done. If you want to see a full video from like prep of my natural nails to prep of the tips to the application, let me know and I can do that. I just wanted to do this really quickly in this video because I also wanted to do using the new color Visionary. I wanted to show that dip as well, so I kind of shortened it and cut a lot of things out. By the way, I do also want to mention, I apologize if I sound so stuffy, but my last day at the beach, I caught some sort of cold, so I've been struggling with that for a while now. I'm actually much better than I was, but doesn't it figure that the girl who goes nowhere and isn't around people for like almost 3 years finally goes on vacation and then catches a cold? I mean, go figure. But anyway, I feel like I have been rambling for a really long time, so I'm going to let you finish watching me apply these tips, and then I'll come back once we start the dip application. I'm back sooner than I thought. I just wanted to pop in and say, did you see how easy it was to use the MelodieSusie lamp to apply my full coverage tips? I'll leave that linked below down in the description if you're interested in this lamp. So anyway, I just wanted to pop in and say I did have a little bit of seepage with the jelly glue as I kind of learn how to use it, how much to use. So I'm just taking my efile and this bit from Pana, which I'll leave linked down below as well, to clean up my cuticle area, remove any seepage, because you definitely don't want to leave any gel touching your skin. And then once I'm done with that, I will actually buff the shine off the tips. I'll apply my gel base and then my gel top coat, and then we'll go into peel base, and then I will finally get into my dip. Now that I'm finished with my tips, I'm going to start in with the dipping. So I'm going to be using the color Visionary, which is a new release, and I'm going to pair that with Gypsy Soul. I know they don't look like they match in the jars, but once you see like the foils and the flakes in Visionary, you'll see how they kind of pair really nicely with Gypsy Soul, in my opinion. Honestly, I actually debated just doing a full mani with just Visionary because it's such a unique dip that it definitely can stand on its own. But I decided to break it up a little bit and mix in some Gypsy Soul just because I thought it paired so nicely with the colors of the foils in Visionary. So I'm going to do Visionary on my middle finger, ring finger, and thumb, and then I'll do Gypsy Soul on my index and my pinky. So I'm just applying a thin layer of the Vivid Glam Co glue, which is their dip base liquid, and I'm applying to my whole middle finger, and I'm just pouring over Visionary. Now the reason I'm pouring this over, because I am typically a dipper, I don't do pour over method often, is because there are a lot of shards and foils in here and I want to pick up as little as possible just to avoid any bulkiness. Same thing when I do it with chunkier glitters. So that's why I'm pouring over. And you'll see here, I'm just kind of, anything that's sticking up, I may take my finger a little bit and just try to pat it down to lay flat. But if it doesn't lay flat, that's fine. I'll just brush off the excess once the dip base is dry. I will say, even though my preferred preference is to dip my nails into my dip powder, some of the benefits of pouring over are that you do get thinner nails. So regardless of whether it's a chunky glitter, a foil, even if it's just a solid, if you pour over, you get thinner layers. So if your preference is to have thinner nails, I highly suggest pouring over, as well as when you're dipping into your jar with wet dip base on your nails, you could create wrinkling or ripples into your dip powder because you're moving around that wet dip base, but you don't really have that issue if you're pouring over because it's just pouring powder over your wet dip base. So those are just some of the benefits of pour over. Of course, quality dip liquids also make a huge difference in your dipping experience. You always want to make sure you're working with good quality liquids to make it easier on yourself. Like, why create more work for yourself, right? So I really like using these Vivid Glam Co liquids because they're really easy to work with. They're nice and thin, so I don't have a lot of bulk when I'm using these. And they've got like the sweet spot dry time for me where they don't dry too quickly that I don't even have time to dip my nails before it's already dried on me. But it's not too slow that when I'm ready to dust off the powder that it's dry and I have to wait. That is so maddening to me. I just don't have the patience to wait. Like, when I'm ready to dust off, I want to dust off. So these are perfect for me. And now I'm going to go into my second dip of Visionary and just look at all the foil pieces that are in this dip. And one of the things that could be intimidating about it, but the thing that I actually love about it, is that it has large gold foil pieces in there, and I just think it makes it look really unique. So I'm going to pick up as much of the foils as I can, but I will actually be doing some foil placement as well. So you see here, I got this really large chunk on my nail, which is just entirely too large for where it's fitting. So I can kind of adjust that because the foils are very delicate. So I'm just kind of break up the excess pieces that aren't sticking, and I'll just remove them because I don't need them there. This is definitely one of those dips where it's unique to everyone because it's how it lays, how you want to place it, however you want it to look. So if you like more foils, you can add more foils. If you like less, you can do less. It's however you want it to look, which is what I actually love about it because it doesn't look the same on anyone. Just popping in to point out that I did move that big gold foil piece out of the way because I didn't want to dip into it. I didn't want that big piece on my nail, so I just moved it out of the way. So I think that's the great thing about laying in as well, is you can move pieces around to where you want them, to where you do or don't want them on your nails. But seriously, do you see all the gorgeous colors in this dip? I mean, the way they complement each other, and they're not really probably your conventional color pairings, but they are just so stunning and so unique together. And I really think the name Visionary was just perfect for this. So you know me, I always have to mess with things a little bit more. So of course I wanted to do a little bit of placement to add a little more color into some areas where I thought could use it. I should probably just, leave things the way they are, but I just can't help myself. So I applied dip base to my entire nail, and now I'm taking these tweezers to pick up the pieces that I want and kind of place them where I think I could use a little bit more color. And this is where the fun part is, because you can really use your imagination and your creativity to kind of make your design and your color pattern. I don't really have like a vision of what I want my nail to look like when I'm done. It's just more of, I kind of look at my nail, and if something looks a bit off, like it looks like there's too much, I don't know, for example, gold in one place where I need to feel like I need to break it up a little bit with some other types of foils, or where it just looks a little bare, that it's just that little bit that looks off to me. Those are the areas where I'm placing more foils or glitters or whatever it may be, just to kind of balance it out, at least in my head. My problem is when I start something like this, I can't stop. Like, I just can't help myself, and I probably go further than I actually should, but I don't know what it is. Is anyone else like that, where you just can't stop messing with it? If nothing's sticking anymore, but you still want to do a little bit of placement, just apply a little bit more dip base. So there was that one area where I wanted to apply this piece of foil, but I don't think I really needed it anywhere else. So that's why I didn't apply dip base to my entire nail. I just did it in that one spot. Just to save time, so this wasn't a super long video because I did the tip application plus some dipping, I went ahead and dipped the rest of my fingers in Gypsy Soul. Look at how beautiful that glitter is. I capped all my nails in clear, and now I'm going ahead and activating my nails. After I've waited about 2 minutes for my nails to harden, I'll go ahead and file and buff. Sorry, I totally forgot to record my top coat, but I decided to use gel top coat this time. So I applied a layer of gel base. I cured that for 30 seconds, and then I went in with my gel top coat and cured that for 60 seconds. So now that I'm all done, I'm going to finish off with my Scales of a Mermaid cuticle oil. This is her newest release scent called Spicy Reeds, and it's just a really great scent. I love it. And here is our finished look. What do you think? seriously, doesn't Gypsy Soul go so well with Visionary? I don't know, I just love them together. And you see right here, there's this little spot. I'm don't laugh at me. I thought I nicked my cuticle when I was filing, but when I was doing this part to record my mani, I was like, wait, that is glitter. So I'm just scraping off the glitter because it turns out I didn't scrape my cuticle. So anyway, look at how beautiful these colors are. Visionary is just so unique and gorgeous. The tips, I'll say, they were easy to apply. I really liked them. The jury is still out on the shape. I don't know why. I knew the lipstick shape would make my OCD go crazy, but I just had to have them for some reason. And I'll say they don't make my OCD go as crazy as I thought it would, but it kind of still does bother me. But I kind of like it at the same time. So I don't really know how I feel about them. I'll say it's not love, but I do like them. Not sure if I'll keep them. TBD on that. So I just wanted to show you here kind of the apex of the tips and how they look. So what do you think? Would you wear lipstick tips? Have you worn lipstick tips? What do you think of them? I know they're not from everyone. They're definitely different in acquired taste. So let me know down in the comments below if you tried the lipstick shape or any other unique shapes of tips. I'm definitely curious to know your thoughts on them. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue creating content like this, and it helps YouTube recommend me to others. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I upload content every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.